Lesson 35, locating intercepts and using standard form of an equation. ax plus by equals c, which is what's given to you right here, is what we call standard form of an equation, where where a, b, and c are real numbers and a and b are not both 0. One of them could be 0, but they cannot both be 0. Remember, whenever we say that they're real numbers, that means that they're going to be constants. We're going to have some kind of a number that goes in here. X and Y are still our variables because we're using this whenever we're talking about the coordinate plane, our X and our Y. Okay? The x-intercept is the coordinate of the point where the graph of an equation intersects the x-axis. So, whenever I have my coordinate plane, and I know that I have x here and y here, the x-intercept is where the equation intersects the x-axis. That means it's where the equation hits this axis. Okay? The y-intercept, similar to the x-intercept, is where the equation intersects the y-axis. So the y-intercept is going to be where the equation hits this axis. It says to find the x and y intercepts for 2x plus 5y equals 10. They already have this in standard form for us. This is in the form of ax plus by equals c. Okay, before we can find the x and y intercepts, we need to talk about something. For it to be the x-intercept, we have to know what the y value is going to be for it to hit right here. So let's say that this is the point that we're talking about. My x would be -2. Pretend that looks like -2. But what would my y value be? My y value would be 0. So whenever I'm finding the x and y intercepts, to find the x-intercept, I have to plug in 0 for y. So what do you think is going to happen if we have to find the y-intercept? What will the x value be in that case? I hope that you're thinking that the x value would be 0 because it absolutely would. That means that it's not moving to the left or the right at all, but it's just going up or down on that y-axis. So, to help us find the x and y intercepts, we're going to use a t-chart. And we know that to find the x-intercept, the y must be 0. And to find the y-intercept, the x must be 0. So all we're doing is we're plugging in y, or 0 for y, and then we're going to do it again and plug in 0 for x. So, on this one, to find the x-intercept, I have 2x plus 5, and instead of y, I'm going to put 0. And that is equal to 10. 5 times 0 gives us 0. So all I'm left with is 2x equals 10. Okay, so to get x by itself, I know my properties of equality, so I know I can divide by 2 on both sides. That gives me that x is equal to 5. I'm going to do the exact same thing, except this time I'm going to find the y-intercept, and to find the y-intercept, I must plug in 0 for x. So I have 2, instead of x, I'm going to put that 0, plus 5y equals 10. 2 times 0, going to cancel out for us, so I'm left with 5y equals 10. To get y by itself, I need to divide by 5 on both sides. And that's going to leave me with y equals 2. 2. And Mr. Hostetter just left. Okay, it wants us to graph this using the x and y intercepts. So what I'm going to do is the exact same thing that I just did. I'm going to make that t-chart. That was supposed to look like a y. And I know I have to plug in 0 for y to get my x-intercept and plug in 0 for x to get my y-intercept. So I'm going to go 3x minus 7, instead of y I put 0, equals 2. -7 times 0 gives me 0. So then to get x by itself, I'm going to divide by 3 on both sides, which is going to leave me with x equals 2/3. So that's what I'm going to put here. 2/3. Pretend that actually looks like 2/3. Okay. Do the same thing to find the y-intercept. I'm going to plug in 0 for x. So I have 3. Instead of x, I'm going to put 0. Minus 7y equals 2. 2. That looks like an 8 now. 2. How about that? Okay, so 3 times 0 cancels out. I have to divide by -7 on both sides to get y by itself. So I'm left with y equals a -2/7. Now these aren't your pretty easy numbers that we are normally dealing with, right? So you're gonna, whenever you graph it, you're just gonna have to kind of estimate. And I'm going to, because these are fractions as they are, I'm just going to make my 1 really wide. So I'm going to put 1, 2, then I'm going to go 1, 2, 1, and 2, 1, and then my 2 is down below there. Let's go ahead and scroll it down. Whoops, I didn't go down far enough. This is my 1, this is my 2. Alright, so my first point is 2/3 0. So I'm going to go over 2/3, which is going to be about here probably. Okay, and I'm not moving up or down at all, so that's my location. Oh shoot. No, it's not, because it's positive. The other one is negative. No. Okay, I apologize for that. 2/3 0, which means we're going to go a positive 2/3 on the x, and 0 on the y, which means we don't move up or down at all. Now for the other one, our next point is 0, -2/7. So I'm at 0, and I'm going to go down -2/7. So we will just call that, I don't know, about there. Okay, so this is approximately my line of this standard equation, which is 3x minus 7y equals 2. Wants us to find the x and y intercepts. These should be ones that you absolutely love because they're super quick and super easy. Where does this line hit the x-intercept? I'm going to go until I find it. Right here. This is where it hits the x, or the x-axis, excuse me. And this point, I would get to it by going left 2, and I don't move up or down at all, so it's going to be -2, 0. And to get to this point, I don't move left or right at all, and I have to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm going to call this 0, 6. So my x-intercept is -2, 0. My y-intercept is 0, 6. Write the equation y equals -1/2 x plus 4 in standard form, then graph the equation using x and y intercepts. So first of all, my equation is y equals -1/2 x plus 4. And for it to be in standard form, which is what it's asking us for first, standard form, for it to be in standard form, we have to have it in the form of ax plus by equals c, which means I need x and y on the same side of the equal sign. So I'm going to add 1/2 x to both sides so that x and y are on the same side with nothing else over there with them. Okay, so when I do this, these will cancel out, and you need to make sure you're recognizing that these are not like terms. And for it to be in standard form, I want my x variable to be first, so I'm going to have a positive 1/2 x, and this y has an understood 1 in front of it, and because it doesn't have a sign, it's understood as positive. So I'm just going to put plus 1y. I'm only showing the 1 for your benefit. You do not have to show that, as long as you understand that it's there. And then I'm going to use my t-chart. So this is my standard form, so I have x and y. To find my x-intercept, I plug in 0 for y. And that looks like a 0. To find my y-intercept, I plug in 0 for x. So, on the first one, I have 1/2 x. I should know if I plug in 0 for y, it's going to cancel out. So I just have 1/2 x equals 4. So to get x by itself, I'm going to either divide by 1/2, or the same thing as dividing by 1/2 is to multiply by its reciprocal on both sides. And those will cancel, and I'm left with x equals 8. So my x-intercept is 0, or 8, 0. So I'm going to go over 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and I'm not going to move up or down at all because it's my x-intercept. Then for y, if I plug in 0 for x, I should know that that will cancel out, which leaves me with 1y equals 4, which just means that y equals 4. So I'm not going to move left or right at all because my x is 0. And from there I'm going to go up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then for me to make my line, I just use those 2 points. Pretend that those actually hit like they're supposed to. Last example. At a football game, student tickets are $3 and adult tickets are $5. Let x be the number of student tickets sold and y be the number of adult tickets sold. Write the equation 3x plus 5y equals 630. Or it doesn't say write it. The equation 3x plus 5y equals 630 shows that $630 was raised from ticket sales. Find the x and y intercepts and explain what each means. So they've given us the equation in standard form. You're lucky because they're getting ready to stop giving you those things. You're going to have to start figuring them out for yourself. So first of all, it tells me to find the x and the y intercepts. So I'm going to use my t-chart, and I know to find x, I'm going to plug in 0 for y. To find y, I'm going to plug in 0 for x. So on the first one, if I plug in 0 for y, that will cancel out, which means I will have 3x equals 630. To get x by itself, I divide by 3 on both sides. My x's will, or my 3's will cancel, which leaves me with x equals 210. Okay. Then I'm going to do the same thing for y. If I plug in 0 for x, cancels out. So I'm left with 5y equals 630. To get y by itself, I'm going to divide by 5 on both sides, which leaves me with y equals, and this will go in once, 122. Okay, and then I need to determine what these mean. Okay, so it tells me that x represents the number of student tickets and y represents the number of adult tickets. So what you need to realize is that this is saying that if there were 0 adult tickets sold, for them to make $630, then they would have had to have sold 210 student tickets. Now, if they had sold 0 student tickets, for them to make $630, they would have had to sold 122 adult tickets, which tells us that since they obviously sold some of each, it's going to fall somewhere around those two numbers. It's going to have to be less than 210 for the student tickets and less than 222 for the adult tickets. And that's all I have for you today. Make sure you have taken good notes, and I will see you in class tomorrow. Have a good night.